Hi guys, so today we'll be doing this tutorial on this makeup look that I have on right now. It's a really simple everyday makeup that anyone can pretty much do. It should not take you more than 10 minutes actually. So yeah, it's really quick as well, and it's also the first video that I'll be speaking through. I hope it's fine and I hope you guys enjoy it, so just keep watching. Okay, so we'll be starting off with a primer. I've already moisturized my face and I've applied my sunblock as my usual routine. So we'll be going in with the Baby Skin Pore Eraser by Mayebellien. Just going to apply that all over the face. Now, I feel it's important to use a primer, every time you apply makeup, just so that, it blends out properly and you're able to get a good lasting finish to it. Okay, and I'm also going to be using an eye primer. I'm using, of course, my favorite by Zoeva. Reason being is we're going to be applying a little bit of eyeshadow later on. Of course, that is optional. Really depends on whether you want to do it or not. So I'm just applying the primer all over the eyelid till the brow bone. And we'll be going in for the concealing right now. I'm going to be using two concealers under my eye. Both of them are by LA Girl. It's their HD Pro Concealer. I'm using two colors today. One is Nude. This has a slightly more pinkish tone to cancel out the darkness. And this one is in Pure Beige, which is the yellow, which has a yellow tone, doing more of the concealing work. So I'm going to use the pink base one first. I'm not going to be applying too much of this, mostly because it's more just for the darkness, and the other one will be doing all the concealing work for me. So I'm just going to blend that in with my finger. Is done, and I'm going to be using the second concealer in the same manner. Only difference is that I'll be taking it down a little bit towards the cheek so that you have a bit more of blending going on once you apply the foundation later on. Now, I always take it onto the eyelids as well, only because we do have, usually Indian skin, we do have quite highly pigmented eyelids as well as under eye, so just to balance that out. So once that is done, I'm going to be setting my concealer with my pressed powder. This is by Sephora. It's the 8-hour Mattifying pressed powder. It's one of my favorites lately. It's been really good in keeping makeup on all day and night, and it just gives a really nice matte finish to it. So I'm using a Real Techniques powder setting brush and applying that under the eyes. Now we'll be going in for the eyeshadow. I'm using the MAC, this is the Visage 8 palette. It's not a new palette, but it's been one of my favorites. So these are the colors that you have, and we're going in with this really flesh tone color here. I'm just going to take a flat brush and apply it all over the eyelids. So once that is done, and from the same palette there is a brown. It's a really warm neutral brown color. We're going to be using that and just creating a bit of depth in the crease. So using a fluffy brush, it's quite fluffy here, so I'm just going to be using that. Now to get your crease right, just look straight, and right at this point here, where the lower part of the eyelid hits the higher part, that's where your crease is. So just look straight and apply the eyeshadow really lightly. And blend it out. Now I've got slightly hooded eyelids, so this, doing this crease really helps because it gives it a lot of depth and it just really opens the eye a lot more if you can see the difference. done, we're going to be doing our lashes. Just curl the lashes first. And I'll be using a mascara by Essence. This is Get Big Lashes. It's really good and super cheap. Okay, so we'll go on to the face right now, and first thing I'm going to be doing is applying my foundation. I'm using the one by Catrice. It's the Photo Finish 18-Hour Liquid Foundation. So I'm just going to be taking that on my fingers. And I'll just dot it all over. So now once that is done, I'm going to be covering up some spots that I have on my face, and I'm using Inglot's Cream Concealer in shade 38. So just by using a concealer flat brush, I'm just going to be taking some of the concealer and applying it exactly where I need some coverage. And just blending it onto those areas. My brother's trying to make me laugh, so yeah. Once that is done, we'll be using the same Sephora Mattifying powder and setting the whole face. I'm using the Real Techniques powder brush. So that is done, and I'll be using my Sephora Unique 10 Color Adapt Bronzer. This is in the shade medium. Yeah, so I'll be using this. There we go. It's slightly lighter than my regular sleek contour kit. Only reason is because we don't want to have an overly contoured look. So we're just going to be using this, just very slightly. I'm using a regular blush brush. So whatever works for you. I'm not really picky on brushes and all that. Alright, so I'm just going to be doing the hollows of my cheeks, just slightly around the forehead and at the jawline. Alright, and for the blusher, I will be using Sephora's New Blush 12 in Raspberry Sheen. Just a regular blush brush. So now just to add a little of sheen to the face and to give a little more depth to it, I'm going to be using Shimmer Waves by Bodyshop. It's all over. Okay, tap off any excess and just apply it right above the blusher. You can take it on your forehead as well as down on the bridge of your nose, but I've got quite an oily T-zone, so I'm going to skip that altogether. Alright, so next we'll be doing the eyebrows. I'm going to be using the same MAC palette that we had used earlier. It's an eyeshadow and blush palette, but you know what, it will work fine for your eyebrows as well, only because I don't want to have anything too heavy going on. So it's the ever so slight filling up of the sparse areas in the eyebrow. So I'll be using the same warm color here, the brown, and the color next to it, which is almost like a dark grey. It's just this both combined together, it gives a really good finish. That is done, and I'm just going to be combing that through with a lash separator. Mascara wand actually, not a lash separator. Just like that. Okay, Now finally we'll be doing the lips. I'm going to be using a lip liner by NYX in the shade Burgundy. It's a really nice color. So I'm just going to be aligning and filling out my lips. Using Lakme's 9 to 5 creaseless lipstick. This is in the shade Mauve Progress. So yeah, here you go. This is the final look. Now it's a really simple and easy look. I've not used that many products or anything like that, and on a regular day it wouldn't take me more than 10 minutes to complete. So if you do like it, if you've enjoyed this tutorial, do give a thumbs up, subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates. See ya!